Live streaming is on.
All right, it says we're live over on the YouTubes, so it did it to me again. But good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to This Week Unloaded. Tonight we have with us so far Mr. Squibload. How are you tonight?
Climbing on a machine, so I can't get to the mute button. That and if I fall, I don't really want you guys to hear that, live on air, so I'll stay muted. Yeah, I'm good.
Alrighty. And then next we have the Kingpin David Bowling. How are you tonight?
All right, what's happening, fellas?
Yep, not too much really. So, guys, got anything you want to talk about? Because I don't know. All the craziness going on, I don't know what to talk about or where to start. So, any ideas what you all want to talk about? I'll give you all the mic.
Well, how about all the BS that's starting to circulate about the numbers going up on the COVID cases, the deaths going up on the COVID cases? Do you think they're just trying to set us up so they can, pull us back some more just when they started opening things up?
I think we got a couple of reasons why this is happening. One, look at all the idiots out there rioting and all these massive protests where people aren't social distancing. And on top, then another factor, they're testing more. If you're going to test more, you're going to find more people that have it. I mean, that sounds logical, right? The more people you test, the more you're going to find. If people have it, the percentage of the population that has it is no different than what it was before.
What I haven't heard very much of on the news are reports of recovery rates and reports of how many people get tested because they were exposed to somebody that came down positive with it. So they were tested as a precaution. They come to find out they've got it and they're asymptomatic. I'd really like to see those numbers. How many people are recovering and how many people have no, symptoms or side effects or whatever. They're not showing any signs. They're not sick. They're just a carrier.
And I've heard various numbers from different sources where doctors are saying that they're thinking that the asymptomatic is 60% of all cases are going to be asymptomatic, or in some cases I've heard up to 80% of all cases the person's going to be asymptomatic on it. That the majority of people that get this are not going to get sick from it. And the way it's been, unless you were showing some kind of symptoms, they weren't testing. Now you're getting people that have been around people that are getting tested, even if they're not sick, and they're finding more and more people have it that just weren't showing any symptoms of it. Does that answer that question? I don't know. This is one of those crazy things. I mean, this.
The way I'm looking at it is, how are they going to use this against us?
Oh yeah.
Our governor loves to talk about the data. The data. Well, data schmata. Go out on the street. Your data is not what's happening on the street. I don't care about your fucking numbers. What I care about is real life.
Yeah. Well, here the governor already says unless the percentages change among the tested and have it, which the percentages haven't changed. The percentage of tested to people that have it has remained the same. The more people that test, the more they're finding to have it, but the percentage of that, like when they were testing before, it was something like 20% of the people that they test. No, it's less than that. I forget what the exact percentage, but the number of people that they tested and the ratio stayed the same. Is what I'm trying to say. So the governor's like, yeah, we're still going to go through. We're just full speed ahead with the reopening plan at this point because those numbers of tested to infected haven't changed any. You're still getting the same ratio. So there's no reason to put anything to a halt. And the death rate in this state has not gone up. There's not been that many that have died in West Virginia in the first place. So the governor's like, there's absolutely no reason for us to go back to having a lockdown in this state. Now, you got other states. I mean, again, bigger states, like Texas. I think they said they're seeing a mini boom of it. But again, they're testing more. When you test more, you're going to find more people that have it. It's just, the more people you test, the more people.
I agree with you on that. I'm just saying that I don't think that they need to be giving out numbers of positive cases. They need to be giving out numbers of hospitalized or recovery numbers and dead. And even the dead is questionable, right? Some of the BS is going on.
You got people that are being reported as dying from COVID who in reality died with COVID. Or in one case, there were people died because of somebody with COVID. There was an automobile accident. I want to say it was New York. I don't remember if it was New York or not. But the driver of one of the cars had COVID. They marked down everybody that died in that automobile accident as being a death from COVID. Are you kidding me? It's like 3 of those people that died in that automobile accident did not have it, but yet they all were marked down as being deaths from COVID because one of the people did. That's insanity. I go back to the old guy. He died because he fell and cracked his head on the ground. The initial cause of death at the scene was because he fell off a ladder and cracked his head on the ground. They did an autopsy, found out he had COVID, so they marked that down as a COVID death. COVID had absolutely nothing to do with the reason why that old guy died. He died because he fell off a goddamn ladder. So to your point, what do you believe when it comes to the death rates? Because they're not giving us straight numbers on that anyway.
Yeah, but when they are using those numbers against us, that's where I got a problem.
Mm-hmm. Oh, definitely. Anytime they try using a statistic, what's the expression? 100% of all statistics can be lies. Which is true because it all depends on how they decide they want to spin it. You got any thoughts on that, Kingpin? You've been a little quiet.
Yeah, the whole thing's fake. It's been fake since the very beginning. And even just recently, they came out and were talking about the 100 or what was it, 1,200 different doctors signed the note that said, you don't have to worry about the protest and the riots if don't worry about COVID there. But then they even specifically mentioned the stay-at-home protests were bad. So they used that verbatim. The riots are good. Stay-at-home protests are bad. So I mean, if people want to continue to play this game, then that's fine. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, they did the same thing with the Trump rally. The protests against police officers and everything, that's okay, but don't go to that Trump rally. You go to that Trump rally and you're going to get sick. There was one, I forget which newspaper it was. I know you don't care for Tim Pool, but he was showing a story where they blamed the spike in COVID cases on the Trump rally. I forget what newspaper it was. It was an actual newspaper. I'm trying to remember. USA Today, maybe. But they literally had an article saying that the spike in COVID cases was because of the people that went to the Trump rally. Last I checked, there were a hell of a lot more people that were at the protests and riots than were at the Trump rally. And New York Outcast is out there saying Mayo is a COVID cure. Well, I guess I'll never be cured because I ain't. No, thank you. Anybody out there? What are they all talking about? Rob's eating. He says he'll be here soon. Jason has a link. I don't know if he's too tired to come in. G23 has a link as well. I know Pat got his link, but he's probably going to be late if he's able to show up at all because having to work on his farm. Yeah, but I agree with you, Keeping. A lot of this is just made up nonsense that it's not as bad as what they want everybody to think it is. But then you get the certain states where they want to use it to control everybody. So they're going to, and there's people that'll believe anything they're told, sadly. Which is why we get the riots. And speaking of that, did you guys see where the Chaz is starting to fall apart?
No, I thought they were going in to get him out of there.
Yeah. There's actually people that are starting to leave. They're like, we've had enough of this. And in the meantime, we've also now been joined by New York Outcast. How you night, Rob?
Hello, everybody. Doing all right. How's everybody doing?
Not too bad.
Yeah.
And, Steven Crowder had part of his team that went into they actually went there on Thursday. They were at the Chaz Chop, whatever you want to call it. They were there during the day, going into the night because Crowder's show comes on 8:00 on the East Coast, so it's still daylight out there. And they were fine until they went to where nobody was really bugging them. There was one guy they interviewed who lives in the area, and this guy was funny. I mean, he was calling it a clusterfuck and all this other stuff, right? And they're trying to get him to like do different things because one of Crowder's guy, he's a quarter black Garrett, right? They call him that because his dad's half black, so he's quarter black. So they were trying to he was joking around, in an ironic way, seeing if he could get the guy to kneel down. And the guy's like, "Nope, I out black you." He said, "I'm 5/8 black." I was like, "Oh my!" This guy was hilarious that they were talking to. He was just some random resident that lives near the place, but he's like, half the time I'm afraid to go walking through here at night, and if I got to get to work or something, because you never know what these morons are going to do. But he said that guy said it's been,
talking about New York or Chaz?
No, the Chaz.
Oh, okay.
And he was saying that since they had those 4 shootings in 3 days, things have been changing. That people were like leaving in droves. That he hasn't seen as many people from his window when he looked out the window and stuff, and it hasn't been as noisy or anything at night like it had been. So there's a lot of people starting to think it's starting to fall, that it's starting to implode on itself finally. Which
here they got a lawsuit. I guess the locals got together and are actually trying to sue the local government there.
Yeah, they're trying to sue the mayor and the police chief.
Or they should, at the very least, a refund for tax money that's not being,
For abandoning them?
Yeah.
Yeah,
basically.
Should it go to family court as an abandonment case, or?
I wouldn't call it abandonment. Yeah, not like that. But if you're paying for services that aren't being provided, shouldn't you get it cut back? I mean, yeah.
Yeah, you would think, right?
Best part about it is all those little Chazzyites went back to their upper middle class suburban homes and lived in luxury after they spent 2 months living on the street pretending like they were homeless. And then the actual homeless people just walked around the corner and went back to sleep where they were before.
Oh, the funniest part was when they're walking around, the food trucks and stuff that are in there just selling these people food. It's like, are you kidding? They have actual food trucks that were in there selling food to people, and other people that had little stalls set up, kind of like, remember the guy where you stopped and bought the hot dog? I think was it a hot dog you bought at Kingpin? No, it was a pretzel. Remember the guy you bought the pretzel from? How he had that little cart? There's people with those set up in there too, selling people food and drinks and stuff. So it's crazy. Then they had their base camp. Apparently the rapper guy, he is renting out rooms in the building that he has as an Airbnb. There's he's actually on the Airbnb website. They rented one of his. He found out who they were, and they had to get out because they were told that there were a bunch of armed people coming to kick them out of the building.
Craziness, man.
Mm-hmm.
They hate capitalism, though.
Yep. Yeah, I don't do Airbnbs myself, but that's not the point. But it's craziness. But as far as legal stuff, it's privacy and stuff. There's some variances when you're renting somebody's place, and it's not so different from a hotel. So, and last I heard, they're fighting against us as far as pro guns. So I don't see any reason to support them, but they do have some good deals some places, though. Not that that's relevant to what's going on, I guess.
So just a bunch of insanity. And the guys that were walking around outside, that was Quarter Black Garrett and what the hell's the other guy's name?
Yeah, that Quarter Black is bullshit. That's bullshit, in my opinion. I don't know. I'm half and half. I don't know if your his dad was half black.
Yeah, his dad's half black, so they call him.
All right.
So the nickname they call him Quarterback.
Yeah, I was gonna say
yeah.
Somebody didn't know math, but I guess I had the numbers wrong.
See, yeah, it's just diluted. That's all.
Yeah, his grandparents on his
Common Core,
black. So, but anyway, that's why they call him Quarterback, because his dad's half black, so he's Quarter Black, right? But everybody on the show has a nickname, and that's the nickname he has. But I'm trying to remember. I can't remember the other guy that was with him, but they're walking around filming, and everything was fine. They go to the soccer field, I guess is what it is now. I don't know what it was before, and they're just talking to people, trying to find out what's going on, because they're in like some kind of meeting in the middle of the field inside the circle that's in the middle of the soccer field, and everything was cool until somebody's like, "Hey, you work for Crowder," and then all of a sudden you got this skinny ass lesbian that comes over, starts screaming at them that they have to leave and stuff, and then all of a sudden you get these other people starting to swarm at them, so they took off from the soccer field, and it was craziness to see some of the stuff that was going on. But that's the only time they really ran into anybody giving them a hard time outside when they were walking around. Everybody else they were talking to was like cool with them and stuff. But there weren't as many people on the streets as what they had been showing. That's for sure. The streets were almost empty. And there weren't very many people that were in the park or soccer field, wherever it was, either.
So what are the police waiting for everybody to leave, where they decide to show back up, or what?
I don't know. Hell, there was a report that somebody's trying to do that at another police station in this.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, Jesus, man. We need.
So with these guys abandoning Chode, will the cops just come rolling in after the last hipster leaves, and then they'll raise the state flag in front of the police headquarters, and they'll take a picture like it's Iwo Jima or something, and say, "We liberated Chode."
Until the crowd comes back.
Yeah. The former communist district of Chode we liberated is now part of Seattle again. We are heroes.
Yeah, just wait till they see all the cleanup they got to do in that police precinct.
You'd assume that would raise local taxes, but apparently, the mayor there must be fine with that, right? If they approved it, let it go. So hopefully they're paying for it out of their salaries and not the taxpayers that are complaining.
I'm waiting to see if they are, when everything's back to normal, if Raz gets arrested. He's on video beating the crap out of one person, illegally distributing firearms to other people. This guy doesn't get arrested. There's something, after all this is done and over with, there's something seriously wrong.
Yeah, I'm not on his side of anything, but there's a lot of people out there that could use a good ass kicking. Just not really our place to do it, but a lot of people. That's my opinion. The problem with society today, everybody thinks they're untouchable. You only are because certain people would rather not go to jail. But yeah, people aren't untouchable. I'll just leave it at that. They like to think they are.
Yep. G23 says he's relaxing, that he has a headache, and Jason still doesn't have a computer.
Has a headache. Oh boy, you lose another Glock part.
Maybe he's like Snob and just completely lost the Glock period.
Oh,
I
come
hope
on.
he's not like Snob. Snob's probably dealing with a bunch of hemorrhoids at this point. Much time as he spends on the road lately.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out though, how the hell did Snob lose a Glock 19? How do you lose a Glock 19?
Was he the guy that left it on top of a building for a year or something? Wasn't there somebody that left a Glock up there, up on top of some shed or barn or something?
Oh,
Maybe
Sounds real responsible.
He found it in his shed. I don't know. I don't know if that was Snob, because I know he found his in his. I believe he found his in his shed.
So I'm not sure if I should. Oh, it stopped. I had an echo. I was gonna say maybe hop out and back in or something, but it seemed to stop.
Not you. That's Squib. Squib's getting an echo every so often, but he's at work, so that could be why.
Yeah, government tapping his phone.
Yeah, it's because I hang around you guys.
Sure, blame us.
That's Kingpin's fault. He's the reason why he's being quiet is because he's messing with Squib's phone. Notice he's not denying it.
He's probably placing a BK order.
He needs to get some more of them napkins.
You talking to me?
DoorDash.
Yeah, we were talking
man.
to you.
I typed I was going to be right back. What's up? What I missed?
Didn't see that. Nothing. We were just picking on you.
That's normal.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's insensitive, and we shouldn't do it. We should all apologize now.
Well, if you're offended, I'm offended that you're offended.
I'm offended that you're offended that he's offended that Kingpin might be offended that we were picking on Kingpin.
And I'm
You got
offended
money?
for everybody else being offended.
Yeah.
I'm offended for the entire audience of having to watch this.
Welcome to America.
Yep. This is America 2020.
make getting offended great again.
Make people have a backbone again. 2020.
You guys do anything interesting? Anybody get out shooting or anything?
I
No.
drove over to my local range, and they're finally reopened. They've got a sign out there saying you've got to wear a mask, but there were people. There were what?
It's just funny out at the range. I mean, how close are you really? It's wow.
It's a state-run range with shooting stations. You're pretty close. I've been to other ranges where they've got the benches further apart, but there's a sign saying wear a mask. But there were plenty of people there weren't. Even one of the range masters wasn't wearing. He had it around his neck. So I just talked to one of the range masters that I normally talk to, and just said, yeah, I'm not here to shoot today. I just want to find out what the rules were, what not. And he said, we're closed 1 day a week more than we normally would be. And we're only letting people go to every other shooting station. So they've got to have, I think maybe 40 stations. So only 20 of them are usable because every other one's got to be empty. After somebody leaves, they can't assign it to the next person until they sanitize it. I have no idea what they do to sanitize it. He said, if you're waiting, you can't wait at the benches that they've got there until they call. You've got to go into your car. You got to give them your cell number and go sit in your car in the parking lot, and they will call you on your cell to say, the station's open. He said, we got a guy here today that's been sitting in his car for an hour waiting for the 25-yard. So, yeah.
I'm surprised Whitmer's even letting them be open at all.
You figure each shooting station's got to be, 3 feet wide at minimum, you would think? I know the indoor range I went to, each shooting station was at least probably 3 feet wide. So
it's about 3 feet wide, but some of them, the opening, the cutout there for you to stand up. So your table's on your left, right? And then the next station, your table's on your right. So the only thing between you and the other person is about 1.5 feet. And what they do is they just took some screen material, the mesh you'd use on a storm door, and they just put it on a plastic tube, and you can roll it up and hold it in place with Velcro. You pull the Velcro strap, and the thing just drops down. That way your brass doesn't hit the other guy in the face. So the 50 and the 100 and the 10 and the 100 are separated by some space, but within those blocks, they're all pretty close together, the shooting stations. It is a little bit uncomfortable some days, but I mean, it's $4 all day. You can't beat it. So.
Yeah, I just figured with the stagger, you would have been to the 6 foot radius or something. That's strange.
I think the mask thing is because it's a state-run thing. But, I mean, she even said on TV, we're not going to fine anybody, arrest anybody for violating this, but a private business owner could ask you to leave. And if you refuse, then it's trespassing, and then you will get fined or arrested. So you can walk around anywhere with a mask, and until somebody from that company tells you to wear a mask, you're not breaking the law, or they're not going to do nothing. So I thought about wearing my gas mask up there to the range. I don't know, maybe I'll take it with me. Yeah, I can get back to shooting. Probably not this coming weekend, but maybe the weekend after. I only got 1 day off a week now, so since I work late afternoon, I could go on a Thursday or Friday during the day, maybe when nobody's there. Maybe that's probably the best thing for me to do, because on Saturday I don't want to go to the range. I want to, do stuff at home or spend time with my family. I mean, we do need a family range day, so that would be a Saturday.
Yeah, well, sucks. It's too bad. Like compared to here, it's restricted in New York. It's crazy that I can go out to the woods and shoot and not have to worry about it. So, but
well, I can go out in the woods.
They don't want to do that.
I can go out in the woods here and shoot too, but I've got to drive hours away. I've got to have a hunting license. I've got to make sure that I've got a DNR map that shows me that the piece of land I'm on is state land. What are some of the other? I've come to find out that you can go shoot on public land in Michigan, but it's not. For me to get to open public land that isn't like a state park or something, where on the other side of the trees is a beach.
Ad
That's a park. I would have to drive 3 hours.
Okay, I'm listening to you. Sorry, just trying to multitask. Yeah, specify what flooring it is, so it's in the contract. And if you don't have to add the material list, don't. But the insurance company might require it.
I do.
All right. Sorry. Shit. Work never ends, so. Yeah, it sucks in my opinion for you. You know, it's too bad you got places that are so far and such restrictions. I know here, if it's not posted on state land that you can't shoot, it's illegal to shoot. Just follow normal rules. No permits, no, like PA, you got to get a permit too to shoot on state land and stuff. Which thankfully I found out before I just went and did it. But you don't need anything. Obviously, carry out what you carry in, follow normal rules. 500 feet or yards from a dwelling, so many feet from the road, and all that type of stuff. You're good to go. So, yeah, it sucks.
I'd be better off buying a piece of land myself. You run the risk around here of somebody being in the impact zone. I mean, there's woods and trees and stuff. You don't know. You could be on somebody's private land. If you look at the DNR map of some of the counties in northern Michigan, it looks like a damn checkerboard. And if you ain't got a compass, GPS, you could be shooting on private property and not know it. And there's some places.
Man, you're military, little land nav.
Yeah. I let the guy.
Come on, it's fun.
I let the guy from Texas do that. I just followed him.
Well, that's how you end up in a crater. That's good stuff. Yeah, it sucks for you. It's sad. Like I said, it shocked me that it's almost a little freer and easier in New York.
It's not that bad. I mean, like I said, $4 all day. Kids shoot for free. A lot of ranges charge you by the hour. Do this, do that. It'd be nice if my range had a 200 and maybe a 500, but there isn't enough property out there. You start shooting at 500 yards, you're going to be putting bullets through the windows of mansions because the rich people live on the other side. So that's about the only thing I really don't like about my range is it maxes 100 yards. But it's a little bit crowded on some days. It's very popular, but I walk out of there with more than $4 in brass every time. And that's one thing I didn't ask him today. I wanted to say, so can we still take brass, or is that, I'll just say that the heat from the explosion of the powder was enough to kill any COVIDs on the brass, and it's good to go.
It sounds about right. Yeah, I really didn't do anything today. Wife made homemade pizza, so that was something, I guess. I was on Gary's show earlier this morning, in the afternoon. Other than that, didn't really do much of anything.
About you, Kingpin, you work today?
No,
Hang out with the ladies from Burger King?
we usually don't do much on Sunday. Just chill. I went to the range this morning and then just hung out at the house.
Get that CZ out?
Oh yeah, probably about 350 rounds without cleaning it, oiling it, or anything. And ran smooth for every shot.
Nice. Better for the price, right?
Yeah, I mean, I still, obviously, I mean, maybe I just don't know any better, but I think all guns are overpriced. But I mean, it was a lot of money to spend on a gun, but so far it's not let me down.
I would agree with you. When you look at High Point can put out a reliable firearm, sure, it's not pretty, but it's fairly reliable for their price point. You would think a lot of other companies could get something similar. I mean, I understand machining costs more and this and that, but some of these models that have been out for so long, I mean, the cost should have dropped. But yeah, it's kind of pay for a brand in some cases or whatever. But it's strange that you could buy and compare some, a power tool or saw that's a mechanical item that'll make you money and this and that, and it's in some cases more affordable with a lot more moving parts, than a gun. So it's kind of weird, but look at Rubbermaid bins. They're 3 cents worth of plastic that you're spending $30 on. So this is the way things go, I guess.
And I had my CZ with me. I didn't shoot it, but I had it. I still got it on my hip right now. Didn't get to shoot it at anything. Should I say get to shoot it or have to shoot it?
Didn't get to is fine, I think.
Well, if I'm carrying it in Walmart, I mean, I didn't get to shoot anything in Walmart with it. I mean, that doesn't sound right.
Yeah, I would have liked to gone out today, but fortunately got stuck working on a friend's car. So, thing was a headache. Everything was an issue. Somebody put Loctite on all the bolts and stuff for the brake hardware and different things. So, I had to change bearing out and lower ball joints and stuff. But everything was a pain in the butt. So, I don't know who worked on it before, why they did what they did, but definitely made it more of a hassle. I had to clean up every nut and bolt from all the Loctite and everything. That was just a pain in the butt.
Oh, yeah, it sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, like something should have took me half as long. But when you got to work a bolt to the last thread in a sense, even Impact Tools is struggling on some of this stuff is pretty crazy. So
should have took a heat gun to it.
Yeah, I ended up cutting stuff. Just pulled the grinder out or cut off wheel, whatever, and just started cutting shit off eventually. So a lot quicker and easier. So obviously you can't cut everything, but so some of the stuff I had to remove. But if it wasn't such a pain, I wouldn't have had to remove half the stuff I had to remove. But I can't get anything to sit on right. And the last thing you want to do is start stripping parts on a weekend that you can't get replacements for. So or stripping bolts, because the hack guy will just run the Lowe's and get you a cheap grade bolt that ain't really supposed to be there. That'll stretch out and be issues later. But I'm not trying to do that, so the guy's not stuck.
Yeah, heat gun would have just loosened that Loctite up, even if it was red Loctite.
Yeah. But got to be somewhat cautious because then you might start burning seals too on other parts. So, depending where it is and everything. So, I'm sure. Yeah, there's lots of ways around. Many roads lead to the same place. So,
yeah, just another way it could have been done. Might not have taken as much apart. But, you got it done. I guess that's what's important.
That's all that matters. So. Knocked it out. Another one off the list. So kind of easy job for the weekend. Hung out with a guy I haven't seen in 18 years. So that was cool. Kind of reunited. So, and thank goodness he's not a criminal. So la-di-da. So might actually be able to get somebody else to go shooting. So things like that.
Yeah, you never know.
A few people from my past I associate with all just got out of prison and stuff, so can't really do much. Can't do much with them. So,
hey, what have you been doing for the past 20 years? Well, 10 to 20 in the state pen,
pretty much. It's nice to see somebody doing well. So.
Yeah.
got a lot of toys and I don't know what he had. RT charger, bunch of nice stuff. So I'm gonna take it for a ride. I was like, yeah, not right now. Some other time. I got some kid cutting up my driveway.
What the hell you think you're doing?
Yeah, he ran off. I hopped out on the roof. Little kid, he must be like 6 or something. I don't know. But my driveway's uphill, so it's not like a ball roll down or something. Keep an eye at everything, boy. Shoot, if it ain't nailed down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, rained pretty heavily here earlier. It's really hot out, and then the rain, and man, talk about humidity.
Yeah, it rained. It
Rough
rained
day.
earlier, but it got to be a little on the nice side by the time afternoon got around.
Yeah.
Now they're calling for sun the next few days and no rain. We'll see if that holds.
Yeah. Well, we had like 10% today, and it was pouring. Thankfully, it didn't last too long. If I could do it over again, be an attorney or a weather guy, because it doesn't matter if you're right or wrong, you get paid either way. Just got to be close or pretend to be trying. So I swear those guys throw darts in the back room. Go online, check what the next news station's saying, and then they're like, all right, let's update. It might rain. It might do this, might do that. Either way, they get their paycheck. So
Yeah. I always liked Eddie Murphy skit when he was on Saturday Night Live. Basically, he did the Ollie Davis weather or whatever. What the hell was that guy? The weatherman on Family Guy. Basically, Eddie Murphy's skit was basically the same thing. That's why he got the idea for it.
yeah,
Where he would ask him how the weather was. He opened the window. It's hot. It's damn hot, fool. Right.
that's crazy. Yeah, must be nice, I guess.
Yeah.
So whatever happened with that challenge? Are you the one talking about the challenge?
What challenge?
What, 5 shots?
Oh, that was that's G23, isn't it?
G23. You ever do it?
No, I haven't been able to get to the range.
I snuck out this week. Threw one together, but I wasn't sure whose challenge it was, so it's just still just sitting there. It's all ready to go, but I don't know how to title things or whatever.
Yeah, that was G23's challenge, if I remember right. 5 strong hand, 5 weak hand.
Now is it so it's just one hand, strong hand?
Yeah, one hand, strong
All
hand.
right, I screwed it up then.
If I remember right, that's how it was.
Thought it was draw 5 shots within 30 seconds, and then same thing offhand. So
Yeah, I don't know. He's out there in the chat. Maybe he'll tell us.
I can't see the chat.
I don't remember my damn self. I remember it was 5 one hand, 5 the other. I feel like my idea better. And it was 2 different targets, if I remember right. But I still like my idea better. 5, he says either way works. But I still like my way better. But he didn't go with that one. It was going to be use a silhouette target. Strong hand, you had to put 5 in the head, and then weak hand, you had to put 5 in the torso.
No, I got mine all on one target. it's split in a sense. I got a top, well, one sheet of paper. I got top, target, and bottom. So that way it was all together, and you know, you
Still
can roll
two
it
targets.
through and busted the tape measure out so everybody knows. Could have been better, but because I'm not full of crap, I rolled up, took the shots off a cold gun, and it is what it is. So we'll see how it goes. But I didn't bring 5 guns and kept pulling another cold gun out to, improve my accuracy or whatever. But I'm not, I can live with it, so I'm fine. But
Yeah. I mean, technically, you were shooting at 2 different targets. They were just on the same sheet of paper.
yeah, one was high, one was low. So I don't want to waste paper for the heck of it. My target stand is, each sheet of paper is probably the size of 4 standard targets. So
Yeah. No, he said that's the way he did it, was the 2 targets on 1 sheet of paper. So you should be good then.
cool. Now, how do you go about the offhand? Because I didn't know how that went, so I just drew like I normally would, and then transferred hands and shot one-handed. So I don't know.
That's pretty much how you would have to do it, right? And if you don't have
I
a
would think, yeah. I mean, unless you're going to draw with your opposite hand, because that obviously will affect time. Yeah. Unless you have a holster set up for your offhand, which I don't. So
do it old school cavalry style. Basically you twist your hand around and draw that way.
yeah. Well, it's either that or you do the whole Mexican carry thing and try not to blow my gonads off in a hurry.
Yeah.
I figured I'd just transfer. I like my
That's
things
the
the way they are.
Transferring from one hand to the other is definitely the safest way.
May slow down time, but that's another issue. I rush my time. I shouldn't even say this because now if we throw it up,
Yeah.
guys are going to be taking your sweet time and counting seconds, having somebody count off for you. I rush mine, but it's a reality, so it is what it is.
Yeah, he said he did the draw and switch, so yeah, that's about how you would have to do it.
Cool.
I mean, ain't very many right-handed people buying left-handed holsters,
Yeah,
Or
well,
vice versa.
it's not a bad idea, honestly. But that's another theory, and it depends how many guns you carry too. So, a lot of times I do carry 2, but it's not set up that way. Although I'm actually considering, after doing this, buying one set up that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like in the westerns where you see them carrying 2 holsters, one on each hip.
Yeah.
Which isn't entirely accurate. Most of the setups where somebody was carrying 2 guns, they actually would be carrying 1 standard on their right hip, and then they would have a cross draw holster, so they would still be drawing that one with their right hand anyway, historically speaking. You didn't see very many guys walking around with the Hollywood holster on each hip deal. Now, you did have the cavalry where they had what were called saddle holsters, saddle horn holster, which was basically a holster that would, you would hook them onto the saddle horn on your saddle, and then you would be able to carry 2 more revolvers that way.
Right.
Cavalry.
Yeah, I think I'd be more likely actually just probably double up with another right-handed, but slide it to the back, so that way I can left hand activate easily, grab easily or something. So
yeah,
but it all depends, and then what you're doing and stuff too, because you don't want to be bending over and have a gun in the small of your back, or expecting to actually get hands on and get tossed on your back with a gun back there. It's not going to be too good for you.
Gary just threw a public service announcement out there in the YouTube chat. Apparently, StreamYard's going to start allowing up to 10 people if you have the paid version.
What was that?
Gary's saying that StreamYard is going to, sometime this week coming up, is going to start allowing you to have up to 10 people on screen if you have the paid version. So you're still going to be limited to you plus 5 on the free version, but if you're like him and you have the paid version, then you can do it. Then you can do a 10-person panel, including yourself.
That's cool, but 10 people on a panel is too much, man. I don't know. I guess everybody's different, but half the time 6 is too much.
Yeah.
You know, like if you're trying to cover a serious topic, because nobody has the time to really, you can start saying what you want to say, and then you get short-sighted or cut off, and you can never really finish it. You know, late start.
Well, we usually have more than
You didn't explain yourself, and then Squib's making a video to tell you how it really is, and you know all this stuff. So.
Well, when everybody shows up, the usual crowd shows up. We usually have more than 6 in here.
That depends. Some shows it works. Some I think it's too hectic. There's not much of a point. Half of it's people yelling over people, and yeah, I don't know.
And
To me, I don't. Yeah, and yeah, kind of have more fun in the chats. You know, in some cases, than spending half your time silent on a show. So,
yeah, we don't have people shouting over each other very often up here. Not that it hasn't happened. It doesn't happen very often. We got some fellow gun tuber. Don't know who that is yet.
well, but ain't Amber.
Amber didn't get a link.
Yeah, I don't know. Think, like I said, it gets a little hectic. But what do you guys think? Pass it around. Is there such thing as too many guests on a show?
That's just it. You said pass it around. If the host would handle it that way, they would probably do a lot better with having a large panel. When you've got a large panel, you got that diversity, right? You might have some different opinions. You might have some different experience out there. It might come in handy. But if you notice, there's people that get on the shows like me that won't shut up. And then you got other people that get on the show and don't say a damn thing. I don't know what the deal is. Now, I've been on some shows where I haven't had much to say because the topic is something that I don't have a lot of experience with. Or we were going to do one topic and that's what I showed up for. And then the host decides to change it while we're on air. And it's like, okay, great. I got nothing now. So I don't say anything. But I don't understand why some people jump on the shows and then they don't ever say anything. But I've been on shows with like 10, 12 people.
They give their plugs.
Well, yeah, that's really about it. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. But I've been on shows with like 10 or 12 people. We tried to see how many we could fit on the chamber just to see what would happen. And I didn't think it was too bad. I've been on shows with 10 people total and everybody had something to add, and going around the horn gave everybody their chance to do it. So I don't understand why some of the hosts don't do that with everything. Just go around the horn.
Yeah, midnight show sometimes lately with since using the chamber have been getting crazy. So you'll have like 20 people in there, and it's just sometimes it's hard to get a word in edgewise.
Yeah, or stick to a topic. Like sometimes it's you're on kind of a serious topic or whatever, but it all gets swapped up to different things, and anybody that actually might be interested just kind of got lost, But kind of sucks in some cases because we all assume we're preaching in the choir, but there is a lot of people out there that are, learning a little bit from this. So, I mean, I learned a lot from this. So, none of us know it all. So it is nice, but it sucks when you are, mentally taking notes and then they're talking about, I don't know, something totally left field for the rest of the show or whatever.
Well, I'll give you a good example. Rich has done his Old West Guns show. What'd you do, like 3 or 4 of them?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, and I listened to a few, and the whole time I'm face palming because I'm just like, none of you guys know a damn thing about old guns.
That's
And of
me.
course, pretty much everybody on the panel but Rich knew nothing about old guns. And the whole time I'm listening, now I wasn't in a position where I could jump off, as I listened to them on playback, and I didn't listen to all of them because it was just I couldn't take any more of it. I'm like, oh my goodness! But if there had been maybe 10 people on the panel and 8 of them didn't know anything about old guns, but 2 did, at least you've got 2 to talk about it, not just the host. So sometimes having a big panel isn't a bad thing.
Yeah, like Gary
I think
said,
it's all how it's done. So, but
Yeah, well,
hello, Mystic.
Yeah, the old. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Didn't even see you drop in, or didn't realize that was you, Stacy.
Be polite now.
Yeah. How
Say
you
hello to
tonight?
the ladies.
I know. Give me a chance here, Rob.
All right.
How you tonight, Stacy? Yep, now she's not going to talk to us.
Made her mad.
I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it, like I said, again, it might work out good on some shows. On all their shows, I don't think it'll be ideal to have that many guests, but I guess it all depends what you're going for, what your structure is, and how you go about it.
Yeah. Gary sucks.
I mean, it's as simple as when they come around to you, just say, I don't have any experience with it. I don't have an opinion on it, or pass, or I don't know, something. You can just briefly, politely say that you don't really have anything to add. And then they just move on to the next person. But if you do have something to add, you got a chance to, and if somebody does say something and you want to interject or add or question or what, I mean, it's as simple as just jumping in there and saying, what did you mean by that? And that person can take a little bit more time to elaborate. Whatever it is, but I guess it's just how the host manages it. Some hosts seem to kind of do like a real structured show, and other hosts don't.
I try to keep it orderly, but without having a super duper hard structure to it at the same time. You know, give the guests a little bit of freedom to speak their minds and whatnot.
Now, see, since I've never been a host, I don't completely know what it's like to be the host. I've asked enough questions. I've seen enough, screen shares off there, and I understand it enough that I think I could host a show just fine. It would be a lot of work because you're multitasking, but that's what you have a panel for. What I don't like is when the host invites panelists on, sends out a lot of invites, and only gets the same 6 people or only gets a few people, and you get on there and the host just talks the whole damn show, and you're just there going, what the heck am I here for? Just decoration in the background.
Yeah.
Or
have more fun in the chat.
Yeah. Or like I said, we had something planned. We had it all worked out. And 5 seconds before we go live, you know what, guys, we're not going to do that. Mm-hmm. Or we talked about it in the pre-chat, and then when we go on air, we're talking about it, but we're not talking about the same stuff. Like we're going in a different direction on that topic. And it's like, we were all warmed up for this. So sometimes that's just, so until I'm a host, I'm not going to understand why a host would do that. But it's been somewhat of frustration because some people just do the shows where they just read the live chat and just talk. And sometimes I kind of wonder why some of the hosts don't just do that. It's their show.
You brought up the Wild West Guns thing and about how most of the panel didn't know anything about the stuff. That was the point of those episodes. Trying to put together an education thing and give them a chance if they had any questions about them, so they could get it out there. And I was also taking questions from the audience on those too. That was the whole point, though. When we did the bracket and found out that most of them didn't know anything about the guns, it's like, might have to go in and do some educational things about that, just to find out exactly what people do and don't know. That was the whole point.
Yeah, I can tell you, I don't know much about the older guns, so I stated that obviously, but basically started off going by what I thought looked cool, and then tried to research as you were saying them. But by the time it went around the room, I might have read 2 paragraphs if I was lucky, trying to compare the two. So, but yeah, it was interesting. So I retained a little bit from the conversation, so which will be helpful in the future.
Yeah, I was gonna say, hopefully you
Oh,
guys.
son of a bitch. Somebody's flying a drone over here.
Can you hear me
I'd
now?
love to bust out the 12 gauge. Yep, we hear you.
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay. I have Snob's computer now, so I had to get everything reset up and I guess some configuration with it.
Oh gosh, you better go take a shower. Wash your hands.
Oh, I sanitized the whole thing.
You back staying with your sister again?
No, I'm home right now. I'm gonna go back on Tuesday, and we should find out whether she gets to come home Tuesday night or Wednesday, or if she's got to stay for 10 more days. But I'll go back up there on Tuesday. And if they do keep her in the hospital for 10 more days, I'll just come home and just go back and forth to see her. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, hopefully everything works out all right.
Yeah,
I
we
hope
should know
so.
more. She has another biopsy. She has a biopsy on Monday, so, and then they should get the results from the labs and stuff maybe Tuesday evening. So to find out whether she needs this medicine for 10 days.
I assume you're paying out of pocket to stay at your place in Oklahoma City and all that as well for the time period that you were there.
Yeah, my sister's paying for it. She
Oh, that's nice.
she was given the option. She knew
Or at
she was
least
going to
chip in.
have. Yeah. Well, she had the option of keeping her retirement, where it was at, or cashing it out. And so she knew all this was happening. So she cashed it out and got, quite a hefty sum. So, she paid for the house, and, I helped pay for, I buy my food and my stuff as much as I can.
That's
and
cool.
then,
So be careful with the retirement though, because inflation, deflation, money isn't, the value isn't going to be the same in 10 years. So state that. So, yeah.
Well,
that's cool.
had we went to somewhere like, we would have to go all the way to Houston to have all her stuff done in Houston in order for the insurance to cover like $10,000 of housing and all that. And it was a 10-hour drive. So my sister's like, no, that's too far.
Yeah, that's crazy. They would make you go that far.
Yeah, it just depends on what their transplant
My cheap butt would have been driving 10 hours. Like, insurance is paying? All right, load up.
Well, the problem would be, too, is usually if you're going to get a heart, you have 4 hours. They want you there within 4 hours. So they would have a flyer probably to get her there within that 4 hours,
Oh, that makes a difference then, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But so hopefully, she gets to come home. We're hoping that she gets to come home Tuesday or Wednesday.
Yeah, I hope so. A long time ago, an ex of mine had cancer as a kid, and they used a bunch of experimental drugs and all types of stuff. And this was like way later in life, but not way later, but probably 15 years or something later in life. NIH actually paid me to drive her down there, and so they could do some type of evaluation thing. They paid my gas, the whole trip, tolls, everything. Set me up at a place down there and gave me like an allowance for the day. It was awesome. Like, it was right after 9/11. I could have went out and like did stuff, but they had like the Ronald McDonald House that they had me staying in, some kind of house like that. There was all these people there. These kids were freaking awesome. They had everything you can imagine, games and stuff. So I spent all day just playing games with the kids, and it was fun. It was a blast. I got paid to hang out and play games all day. It was awesome. So, yeah, some of that stuff is pretty neat with insurance, how they cover different things or whatever. But
Yeah.
it was a good time. So, I mean, a lot of the kids, I guess, apparently, I don't know. To me, it seemed like nothing, but I was told by some of the parents that they were very thankful because a lot of people, I don't know, kids have cancer or something. People just don't want to be around them or something, or scared or something. But I had a ball with these kids. So, like I said, I would have done it for free, and I got paid for the whole deal. So,
Yeah, see, that's what my daughter wants to do. She wants to become a pediatric oncology nurse and work with, cancer kids and stuff. And
yeah.
so,
You see some real heart, it's some sad stuff, but see a lot of good in people in positions like that.
yeah.
Probably a lot more gratifying than a corrections officer or something. Not talk crap about anything, but you know what I'm saying. Just I don't know. Results are probably you can see them better. I don't know. Tell you, some of those kids are tough, man. Those spinal taps and all the crap they got to go through. Some of these kids, like,
Yeah.
Adults, slipped on the steps and you want to complain and get a week off from work, but yet these kids are trucking away and being, forced in rehab and struggling through pain. Yeah, it's something. A lot of these kids got more heart than the average damn adult these days.
Oh, yeah.
My brother was getting a spinal tap every month, but that wasn't the worst. Every 3 months, he had to get a needle in his hip. And,
Ooh.
yeah, he said that was the worst one. He said that hurt like a son of a bitch.
Oh, I bet.
He had leukemia when he was younger, and that was one of the places that they would check every 3 months to see if it was still in the bone marrow. And he said that was extremely painful.
Oh, yeah. Anytime a needle going into bone marrow is pretty painful.
Yeah, it's a shame. You see people having to suffer through that, no choice of their own. It's one thing if you're an idiot and, mess yourself up with drugs or something, doing something, skydiving and forgetting your parachute or something. But, when you're just born that way or, life comes and gets you, it's kind of a crappy deal.
Yeah.
One of my customers is waiting on a heart right now, and due to all the testing, which she's probably familiar with, you got to go through a bunch of testing prior to see if you're even up for it, and a candidate, and all this type of stuff. She basically got pushed back due to the whole COVID thing. So, and she has other complications. Actually, she's it's a daughter of a customer, so. Fairly young girl, has kids and whatnot, but she's just at this point taking time bomb. Like it's just a matter of time. She's gonna run out of time if they can't get her in soon. So it's a shame. Yeah,
it sucks.
Yeah. She did college, got everything all set, bought a house, and now she doesn't have the energy to walk upstairs, and it's just sad. Asking me about an addition, I'm trying to talk her into just looking at moving, because the recovery is going to be something too, and why not make it easier on yourself instead of paying for an upstairs you can't even use. But yeah, everybody's got their own things. She likes the location, so I guess I might throw an addition on.
Could you maybe talk her into putting the addition on the first floor?
Yeah, that's what it would be, addition on the first floor. I mean, it would probably be more affordable, and I hate talking myself out of work, but if I just install the stair glide system for her, I've done work with quite a few different companies, handicap accessibility, so didn't want to, but I kind of got bullied into it, and then did such a good job. I like their ringer guy, so but say I care. That's the difference. you gotta look at it. If that's your parent or somebody getting on there, you know what I mean? Quality of life is important. So things need to be right. not right from your house. They need to be right. But needless to say, I can probably get her one of those fairly cheap. I can get her a used one probably for $1,500. May not look pretty, but you know, anywhere up to probably $4,500. So it's a straight run, so it shouldn't be any big deal. But that's a lot cheaper than an addition. So
Yeah, that's for sure. Getting back to the Wild West gun series we did you guys find that educational? The Stacy, Kingpin, Rob, since you guys were you were three of the main reasons why we did that, because three you really didn't know that much about them. Did you find that educational? Helpful at all in any way?
To your point, I think some of it kind of started going like way over my head. I'm more of a, if I was to see the gun, feel the gun, and then, hands-on type person than I am like actually like just listening and kind of that. I mean, some of it, it was still educational, but yeah, whether or not I retained any of that information, probably not.
Did you come away with a better understanding of the firearms, though? In
A
general?
little, yeah. Yeah, in general. So, and I think I missed one of the shows. I think I missed the one about the rifles. I don't remember.
I don't remember either. Oh. What about you, Rob?
I thought it was good. I mean, to be honest, I don't have a naturalist interest in older firearms, so some of it was a little long-winded to me. No disrespect, anyway, but yeah, I definitely learned a little bit from it. So some firearms that, image-wise, I've seen or I know, but didn't realize what they were. Like the Army's there, the Navy. So at least now I have a little more understanding of it. So basically, so yeah, I thought it was good. I think if you're not a person that has an interest in it, it might have been hard to get through, or somebody, on the outside looking in probably isn't going to review them because they really don't have any draw to those types of firearms. But anybody that is, I'm sure would definitely benefit from it. So, but I'm basically almost willing for anything within a reason that isn't going to get me in trouble or something, because every little bit that sticks is something that can help propel you in the future. So,
Right. Yeah, and they're
don't
really
be closed-minded.
they're really fun guns to shoot if you get a chance. Try them out. I know you weren't there for the whole series, Kingpin, but did you find anything of interest, or did you learn a little bit something more than what you knew before?
Yeah, I always like listening. All this gun stuff's way over my head, but like Caliber Corner or whatever, I just try my best to keep up, and I always learn a lot of cool stuff.
Cool. But yeah, I mean, honestly, if you get a chance to get out there and shoot some of those, they're really fun to shoot, especially the revolvers. I mean, you get one of those old revolvers in your hand, and all of a sudden you're wanting to be like Wild Bill Hickok or Wyatt Earp, shoot Black Bart out there. I mean, they're fun to shoot. Squib will tell you they're really fun to shoot. He's got a couple of those Captain Ball revolvers and whatnot, and they take some work to get them set up to use when you're talking about the Captain Ball revolvers, but they are a blast to shoot. Literally, I mean, you pull the trigger on one of those, you get the blast of smoke, and then you hear the bong when the ball hits the steel. They're just super fun to shoot. You still there, Squid?
Yeah, I had no idea that number 3 reproduction was so expensive. The comments that we were making on Santee's video.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those are ridiculously expensive for what they are.
See, even if you're not interested in the guns, or you say I'm never going to own one, or they're old timey, they're obsolete. If you understand some stuff about them, you'll understand some stuff about the modern guns. You'll understand some stuff about where they've come from, or some of the terminology is still used, or where does it come from? Why do they call it this? So sometimes understanding those old guns can really help you appreciate the new ones. In addition, every now and then you may come across somebody who's got one. Don't go, nah, I don't want to shoot. No, give it a try. Give it a try. Like Rich said, you literally do get that big, blast and smoke everywhere, and it's kind of fun.
Yeah, and when you learn the history, I mean, the 44 Russian, that round being the first of the non-healed bullets that was used, and then when you look at the lineage, that's what led up to 44 Special and 44 Magnum directly. That is the parent cartridge for the 44 Special, and the grandparent cartridge, I guess you could say, for the 44 Magnum. Same diameter bullet and everything. I mean, it's interesting when you look at how things progressed. It really does.
Plus,
Yeah.
if for some reason you find yourself on vacation and you wake up in a grade B movie, and that's the only firearm available, it'd be nice to have some idea how to use it.
That's true. Yeah, I can't say you don't got a point there. What were you going to say, Squid?
Well, I guess to Rob's point, all right, let's say they really do go door to door and take all the guns, but they leave the ones that are in the museum there. And you got to go all Demolition Man and go to the Hall of Violence and get yourself a single action army. At least you know how to use it.
Yeah. Or, friend's place, and it's, I don't know, some place is getting robbed or something, and then the next thing you know, that's the only thing available. And you could break it out of the case and actually possibly defend yourself. You know what you're doing. Keeping an eye on them.
No, I just thought you were out here throwing shit down
Nah,
in our
it's not
driveway.
me. I see them throwing them. I just make sure they don't hit the truck.
Well, who the fuck is throwing them? Why
I
are they
don't
throwing
know.
them towards
I
our
don't know.
goddamn
Sorry. Neighbors, man. Got fireworks getting tossed next to my car and my truck. I don't know if they're tossing them in the back of my truck.
Sounds like a couple cap and ball revolvers going off.
Somebody's having a Wild West shootout out there in Rob's front yard.
literally went off right at the bottom
About
of
to
our
hear a
driveway.
9mm going off in a minute.
G23 had a question for you out there in the chat, Rob. He wants to know if you're going to send him the video or if you're just going to do a link to it.
However, I got no idea. I can do a link or whatever. I didn't know how this was all going. So, like I said, I forgot because we talked about it on 2-3 shows. I forgot, who was even doing it. So, so whatever. Doesn't matter to me. I can throw it up, put a link in to the thing if you want, or I can send it over, or whatever. Come down here and everybody's gone. Funny. Oh. It's crazy. Got everything on camera, but it don't matter. Trying to get, accountability for somebody burning holes in your paint. Good luck with that.
Mm-hmm. People don't care.
No, not really.
It ain't dirt.
That's the world. Everybody's untouchable, so they're not. And then you're the bad guy. Like, I personally don't care, but you should be cautious about people's vehicles.
Yeah, you gotta be careful with other people's cars.
And they got a backyard. So I don't understand why they're out here in the street with their car in every space out here. So.
When my wife had her baby, she went outside and there was kids sitting on the damn roof of the car. What the hell are you think you're doing? Get off my car! People don't teach their kids respect anymore.
No. No, mom's in the street showing them how to do it.
Don't lay it yet. You got one. Oh my God.
Sound like a bunch of idiots.
Yeah, try to stain camera things all messed up. What's that?
You like the fireworks?
Yeah, fireworks are cool. Not cool on cars, but they're cool. Little girl. Everybody done ran away again. Yeah, I don't mind. Celebrate. Just don't burn my stuff up.
Careful what you're doing, you know?
Yeah, exactly. That's crazy. Everybody, they all come and do everything in front of my house instead of their house. I don't know what the deal is. It's always like that.
They do it for your house because they think it's damaged to the third.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Yep, normal. There's so many people out there probably don't have neighbors like this, huh?
Beginning to sound less like black powder and more like Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah, uplift mofo party planet. That's what it sounds like, Beirut.
My daughter's freaking out. She's like, I'm trying to go to sleep. She's trying to go to bed. She's what, 16? And you got kids in the street are like 7. Some of them.
Yeah, not really surprised. Now it sounds like Chicago in the 1920s.
It's starting to sound like the Airbnb, the apartment complex behind it.
Yeah, see that. What the hell are they doing?
Roman candle wars in the street.
Yeah, are they trying to get somebody's house on fire at this point?
You end up hearing a female screaming, it's probably going to be my lady. So if anything hits the car, I'm sure she's going to be out there like a pit bull. So
It'd be a totally different kind of fireworks. They ain't gonna be enjoying those kind.
Yeah, unfortunately, this isn't Texas. I wish, but no. Most I can probably do is make a report, take it to court, file paperwork, go into small claims, most likely depending on the damage, and then be told that the mom doesn't have money and blah blah blah. And maybe some year when they file taxes, I'll collect a payment, not even remember why. But that's pretty much what it is. Or I can go beat the shit out of somebody and end up in jail. But,
yeah.
That's why it's so nice to live out in the country.
Yeah, I totally agree. For all this COVID stuff, that's the plan. Now I'm afraid to drive out of state or else I'm going to get pulled over and quarantined or something. So,
yeah. And G23, yes, they still have, there are still Roman candles. I don't know why you would think there wouldn't be, but yes, that they still exist.
I don't think some states can have them.
Yeah, they hand them out at daycare now.
Well, we've probably got about 12 to 15 calls about fire.
Yeah, he says they don't sell them out there.
I don't think they do in California either. Some places, like I remember even as a kid, there was, limited amount of what we could get in California. And then,
yeah, but out there you got to worry everything's going to catch the state on fire.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. In California, you got all these damn wildfires. No wonder.
Probably a good point. They were illegal, everything but sparklers in New York State. And just this year, I think this is the first fourth where they legalized all but mortars and trying to think, nothing bigger than an M80 or something like that, but nobody, there's mortars go off all day. Nobody pays attention, but now they have, you can buy Roman candles at the grocery store now. They're everywhere. Walmart's got tents set up out in their parking lot, so somebody worked a deal out with Walmart where they're selling fireworks and stuff. So I haven't been in, but I've driven by. So you can find stuff everywhere. So I know I used to get the best stuff from this kid he got supplied from some guy in a Camaro, and the kid would carry all the stuff in like cereal boxes, and he'd munch on a little bit in a bag, and you could get like half sticks of dynamite and stuff. This is a long time ago, but you can get all types of stuff. So I'm sure it's coming back to that here. That was in the city, basically, where you could get anything almost. So and kids did most of the sales because they're kids. So, legally, it's not too big of a deal. The adults are the ones that supplied the kids. So I won't be shocked if the market's not moving upstate now because of more of a lenience in a sense. Although I'm still pretty sure you'll get in trouble for a lot of stuff. But criminals don't care about the law, so.
Well, that's why they're criminals.
Yeah, I'm sure there's going to be all types of reports, after the 4th about all the fireworks and the injuries.
If they're setting off this many a week before the actual day,
it's been going
is it going to get worse each day?
It's been going on for weeks. It's like every day. There's a kid that's a little slow, lives down around the corner. He started buying them after the 4th last year. I seen him come up the street with like boxes. He'd be pushing shopping carts. I don't know where he was getting this stuff from, but he's just walking up the street with shopping carts full of stuff. He let stuff off every day for like the last month almost. And now, probably got some free money. So I'm sure a lot of that's going into fireworks, but that's all I see. Every time I see a boom, I'm like, oh, there's $10. There's another 10. There's 20.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, but yet they can't cut the grass. You know, they can't put clean clothes on themselves or nothing. So I don't know, but priorities, right?
Yeah, exactly. Get the priorities in the wrong places. That's for darn sure.
Yeah, it's like the Mercedes sitting outside the crack house or whatever. You know, you got 14 family members living there, you know, with nice Mercedes out front, parked in the yard and shit, where there should be grass all over the place. You'll see the same people downtown, double parked over at the social service office. Kills me.
And it's like when we lived in Pittsburgh, you see on the news about all the time about how they were getting busted for drugs in the projects, right? And then they wonder why they got busted for how they got caught. Maybe it was that Cadillac Escalade you had sitting out front.
Yeah, kind of gives it away, you know, especially when you know, nobody's ever seen you work anywhere. Yeah, there was a guy up around my area. I guess he was pretty big time. Not a normal agency came in for him, but I had a job up, like in the ritzy part up on the hill, and shit, $100 and some odd $1,000 addition we're putting onto a place. I was subbing, and the people next door ended up getting arrested, and the guy was telling me about it. He was like, yeah, the guy came in, moved in, it was real nice, but he ended up telling everybody that he worked somewhere different. And he used to get all these packages, and people showed up, and then all the cars. And then one day, I think it was FBI, somebody, like, they came, blocked off the whole area, came with, like, you know, the MRAP and everything. Come to find out, the guy had some kind of drug deal scam going in the mail, and so it turned out to be a federal thing. You know, the guy became, like, rich in a year, you know, living like a king up on top of the hill with $120,000 cars. So didn't last long.
Well, some criminals are just stupid, and they get caught because they're stupid. You know, if you're living in the projects and you're stealing drugs, don't go driving a $35,000 to $40,000 car, because at the time that's what the Escalades were. This was back in the 90s, right? So the Escalades were $30,000, $40,000, maybe $50,000 at that time. But you know, you're living in the projects. Everybody knows you don't got a job. You got the newest luxury car sitting out in front of your house. That's not going to raise suspicion. No. People don't think.
Yeah, that's what a friend of mine did, being an idiot. So, you know, it's in a small town too. So, you know, you can't hide nothing in a small town. Thought he was slick though, and you know, riding around in a Beamer and a couple girls and a bag of something he shouldn't have, and complaining because he ends up in prison. So, what do you expect, man? Like,
Pittsburgh, the projects had their own police force, the housing authority police, and they were always driving around the area, and they would be out there selling shit right in front of the damn housing authority cops as they're driving by. Next thing you know, they had the city PD pulling up on them and busting them. And it's like, how did we get caught? Well, maybe it's the fact that you're a dumbass and you're just selling this shit in front of the housing authority police who didn't want to deal with the situation, so they called the city cops, you know? How stupid can people be? You see the police, it doesn't matter if it says housing authority police or city police, you might not want to be making a drug deal right in front of them.
To be honest, there's some lower level dealers, they let them just go. They want to see where they're getting it from. So if there's somebody that's not necessarily in a school zone selling little junk, garbage dime bags, they're not going to go in and bust that person right away. They're going to want to try to figure out where that person's coming, getting their stuff. They always want the bigger fish because that's what looks good. That's what gets you the funding, all that stuff. So that's why investigations take 2 years half the time. Like anything serious, you can report, they'll send it off to the special investigations unit, and then that's it. They're not going to send a car by because they don't want to take people off. So a lot of this stuff kind of gets a free pass. But not always. So, it may seem crazy that they do it right in front of an officer, but 5-7 days out or 6 days out of the week, that might be normal protocol.
Yeah, well, this was a time period when Pittsburgh was trying to clean the various housing projects up in the city. So they knew that they were liable to get arrested for doing it. They doing it anyway. They didn't care. Because every night on the news, you were hearing about how they made a drug bust in this project or a drug bust in this one. And it's like, these people are stupid. It's like, they're going to bust you because they made it public that they're going to bust you if they catch you dealing on the street. And they would go and do it anyway.
I remember watching on the show that's been banned now, Cops, I think it was, an episode where a guy robbed a house, called a taxi, had the taxi take him to his sister's, and he stored all the stolen goods in his sister's attic. Well, his sister happened to be the local sheriff. So obviously she had to arrest him. Then he tipped the cab driver with a VCR or something. Obviously it dates it, but there's definitely some idiots out there.
They used to have that show, Stupid Criminals. You ever see that one? Some of the stuff people.
Yeah, actually, that might have been what it was, or something like The Dumbest Criminals, or one of those shows. Now that I think about it, but
I think my favorite one is still the one that guy calls the police to report his meth lab was stolen. The cops show up. They run the simple test on his trailer. The guy was living in a single wide trailer. And sure enough, they found evidence of him cooking meth and promptly arrested him.
Yeah, it don't shock me. I had a guy that lived across the street that was complaining. I guess somebody, ripped him off in a weed deal or something. He called the police, and I guess he had like a pound and a half just sitting on his table in his living room, and the police seen it. So obviously they had to arrest him. And he was all pissed off. Like, well, you got to arrest the other guy. I called you. It was hilarious. We were all laughing. We were glad because there was a drive-by on that place a couple times. So
yeah, it's crazy. There was another episode where they were talking, and like what you were saying, the guy calls and the report to the police that somebody just stole his stash of weed. It's like, good Lord, people.
You see, that's what I think they had to do with all these, come here safe injection places. Is like, yeah, come on over, we'll test your stuff for you. We'll test it and give you a ticket, and arrest you or whatever. So fine you, whatever the case is. I think it's crazy. And if there's got to be laws on it, I don't know. But another way, if you just cut all the laws, the problem people ain't gonna last more than a year or two. So I think it'll clean things up fairly quickly. But that's how you want to look at it.
If you're doing something illegal and you get ripped off, you call the cops to tell them.
Yeah, you're kind of on your own.
Yeah. At that point, you might as well just walk down to the police station and turn yourself in. Save the cops the gas money.
It's like saying the guy I tried to rob shot me. I want him arrested.
Jesus Christ, you people are stupid. There was one, the guy went and called the cops because somebody pulled a gun on him. They get there to investigate it. They find out the reason why the guy pulled the gun on him is because he tried carjacking them.
Kind of makes sense.
Oh my God, people are dumb.
Well, you guys are too quiet out there. Sounds like it's just me and the rich white guy, and that could cause some problems. So you guys need to speak up.
Either of you got a
Tough
stupid
crowd.
criminal story?
I didn't have anything to add to this particular part of the conversation.
You don't know any stupid criminal stories? Come on, you gotta know some.
I mean, yeah, from watching episodes of Cops, but I mean, I don't really know a lot of criminals personally. I might work with a few, but they're not my friends.
Holy shit. Midnight I think Midnight might have got bit by the bug I got bit with earlier. He just sent his links out. No, he's already live. He might got bit by that same damn thing. So I guess we should start wrapping her up then if Midnight's going live. So you got anything you want to plug, Squib?
Nah, thanks for the invite.
Yep. Kingpin?
Have a good night, everybody.
Rob?
Thanks for the invite. If you're going to let your kids run around the streets with fireworks, at least show them how to do it properly and not cause property damage. It'd be appreciated. Other than that, thanks for joining us.
Yes, this public service announcement brought to you by New York Outcast. But yeah, good Lord, don't be stupid. If your kids are going to play with fireworks, show them how to do it safely. Save yourself a trip to the emergency room. On that note, we will bid you all a good night, and we will see you next week. And this is where you throw in your taglines, folks.
Get to the chopper.
Nobody else got any taglines tonight?
I'll be back.
I ain't got no tagline.
Bye-bye. Have a good night. See you next week. All that good stuff.